What up? It's your boy Wall Street back again on the mic. Mic hot as today. Feel me? Because I'm about to drop some heat. What I want to talk about today is NBA viewership and ratings, because there's been this topic going around that NBA viewership is down, which statistically it is. I read something today that NBA viewership is down 48% since 2012. And there's a number of factors that people are pointing to. Excuse me. But let's start with the number one thing that I think most people have been thinking about over the years is load management, right? A lot of people buy tickets to games or go to games, and the one time that they turn on the game as a casual fan, that's the opportunity for them to kind of become a more intense fan, depending on how the game goes, right? Like, that's typically just how it works for people. Is if you have a good experience with something, you might do it again, right? But with load management, you tend to turn on the TV for games where you see a star-studded lineup, right? Like, if you see LeBron James playing, or Kawhi Leonard, or James Harden, or Kevin Durant, or name the person you want to see play, right? A lot of these stars are subject to load management, which is not always their decision. Sometimes it's the decision of their teams to rest them strategically throughout the season. But it's kind of hard to predict, and you don't really ever know when it's going to happen, right? So people have gotten accustomed to, I'm not even going to turn the game on, or I'm not even going to go buy tickets to this game because, LeBron might not play, or, Kevin Durant might not play, or Steph Curry might not play. That's a real thing, and I understand that, and it is frustrating, but it's the nature of sports. I mean, you might buy tickets for a game, game one of the season, and then, that player gets injured game 5, and then they're out for the rest of the season, but your tickets are for game 7, right? So it's going to be a difficult thing to predict regardless, but knowing that the guy's healthy and he's just not playing, I can see why that aggravates some people. So that's the main thing. The second thing is, I think the officiating over the past couple of years has been incredibly inconsistent. Like, so incredibly inconsistent. It's ridiculous to me. And not necessarily saying that the officiating is always bad. It's just you don't know what's a foul anymore. You don't know what a technical foul is anymore. Like, so many different things constitute when a ref is going to blow their whistle. And a lot of that does not carry over from ref to ref, right? Like, there's so much variation that refs have when they officiate a game, and I think it's really gotten to a point where it's kind of difficult. I mean, people get mad that guys are shooting too many free throws, but for me, like, I would rather them call it, right? It does slow down the game, I understand that, but at the end of the day, you have to call a fair game, right? And a lot of times refs are getting themselves into positions where they've been calling the game one-sided until the fourth quarter, and then they start throwing, random calls out there because they're trying to make it look more even. It's just, there has to be a better system to officiate games. And, like, some of these calls are ridiculous too. Like, the other day, the Knicks were playing the Pelicans, I think, in New Orleans, and the Pelicans ball boy crew got a technical foul. How is that even possible? Who do you tag the tech to on the stat sheet when you give it to the ball boy? He doesn't have a jersey number. He doesn't have a jersey. What are you doing? Like that to me was crazy, right? Like, the dude's just trying to do his job. He's probably not getting paid that much. He might just be volunteering. Who the hell knows? And you're giving his team a tech. Now he looks like an asshole. Like, that's crazy to me. It's just, I didn't understand that at all, right? Like, I get if it's a delay of game, right? But that should be a delay of game warning. Like, do not give somebody a technical foul, especially if they're not on the team. That's absurd. But nonetheless, so that to me was like, okay, I can see what people are saying when they say the officiating has got out of hand, right? That was just crazy. And some of these calls are just dumb too. Like, I mean, some guys are getting just absolutely obliterated at the rim and no call, and then some guy will get touched on the arm and it's caught. And, like, I understand the superstar calls versus the non-superstar calls, but it's not even like there's no correlation anymore. Like, sure, superstars are still getting more fouls, but they're still getting blown calls on like a lot of them, right? So, varies player to player and stuff like that, but it's a mess. And then I think the third thing that's really distracting people is that the game has gotten so analytical, right? And that's something I try not to do on my channel, right? Is I don't want to get too analytical, because at the end of the day, basketball is basketball, right? And analytics don't really predict who wins or who loses, right? It tells you who has a better chance, I guess, and who's better at a specific category, this, that, whatever. But at the end of the day, if you've played basketball before, analytics don't mean anything. Like, they really don't. They really don't. Because when you get, on that court and you got the ball in your hands, you're just making plays. You're just doing what you have to do. It's not about analytics, right? And I think that's what the NBA is getting away from, is that they have so many of these assistant coaches and guys in the front office that are getting paid to just run numbers all day. Like, they literally are like businessmen that are like running, scenarios of different games against different opponents like it's a business. And I get it. The NBA is a business, but basketball is not like that, right? Like, you can be very fine-tuned in the way you practice, stuff like that, but like, if your team is not good at shooting threes, do not shoot 50 threes. Like, this is what they were talking about this on, the NBA on TNT the other day. It's like, I think it was like Chicago and another team, and combined they shot like almost 100 threes, and they made like 30 of them, like 30% from three-point range. Like, that's not an efficient way to play the game, and frankly, it's not that entertaining, right? Like, I get that, 3 points is worth more than 2. I get it, but a layup is a lot easier than a three-pointer, and a mid-range jump shot is a lot easier than a three-pointer. So, or 2 free throws, a lot easier than a three-pointer, right? Like, it's just, I understand wanting to chuck up as many threes as possible, because you're giving yourself, statistically maybe a better chance to win the game. But at the end of the day, you have to make those shots. And if you're putting all of your eggs into, I'm going to make 25 threes tonight, like, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. I know players in the league shoot threes consistently now, like, 1 through 5, but it's not a good way to play, right? Like, I think the mid-range jump shot is very valuable, right? Like, that was my game, in high school and in college, was like, I was a three-point shooter, sometimes, but if I could take a mid-range jump shot, I'm going to make that way more frequently, because it's an easier shot, A lot of us grow up, playing outside in our driveways. You don't really have a three-point line. If you have a small driveway, you're just shooting mid-range jumpers all the time. So most people are better at shooting mid-range jump shots. So it's just like common sense to me, right? Or just try to go to the rim, put pressure on the rim, do something else, right? It's just, I can understand why people get frustrated like that. I mean, I think it's nice to see threes, right? But like, not every team's the Golden State Warriors from, 2016. Like, you're just not going to be able to replicate that, right? They were an amazing team for a reason. Like, one of those Golden State Warriors teams went 73-9 for a reason. That might have been the 2016 team. I think it was. So, I think NBA teams just got to go back to being themselves and pride themselves on, playing their way, not trying to play like how everyone else is playing. And, that'll make it more entertaining, right? We want variety and, differentiation in the league. And you're not going to get it with everybody just trying to shoot threes, especially when your team can't shoot threes. You're just going to wind up being a bad team. So, I think my personal opinion is, a lot of people were saying, the NBA viewership is dropping in 2012 during the super team era, right? Where you had LeBron and D-Wade and Bosh all teaming up. Well, I guess that was 2010, but like 2010 to like 2016, right? Where then LeBron goes back to Cleveland. He's got Kyrie and Kevin Love. That was a big trading basically Andrew Wiggins and I think Anthony Bennett, 2 number 1 overall picks to the Timberwolves to get Kevin Love. Golden State Warriors, Kevin Durant joining the 73-9 team. Like, it was just the super team era. And people were like, oh, well, ratings are going to go down. Ratings did not go down. They were great matchups, and people still talk about those days. So I'm sure people are going to talk about, the times in the NBA right now later on. But I do think there are issues we can fix to make casual fans more engaged with the league and appreciate the league more and really, find a love for basketball like I did when I was younger. So, but I want to know what you guys think, man. Are you still watching the NBA? Are you watching games as frequently as I am? You know, I'm a basketball junkie, so I have League Pass. I'm watching games pretty much every day, and I love it. Basketball season is my favorite time of year, but you know, a lot of people are just not feeling it right now. So let me know what you guys think. You know, what do you think the NBA can improve to improve its ratings, improve its brand, its viewership? I want to hear from you guys. Let's discuss. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. So, 'tis the season. You know, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you and yours. Wishing you all a safe and happy holiday season. And I'll catch you guys with the next one. Peace.